Yo, check it. I'm about to break down 2 viral videos to basically explain who are the citizens and non-citizens. Also, the differences on how the way we're treated in the financial system and the judicial system. These differences are well known and undeniable because we can literally see with our own eyes every single day. And for some reason, we believe that it's normal. Your ability to endure this video will determine how much you can care about another ethnic group other than your own. This may be in 2 parts, but the first one will be about a financial system and its differences on how the way it correlates to oppression and our real loss of freedom. The second one will be about a judicial system in which creates chaos, leading to wrong decisions being made, breaking universal laws. And this would never happen if it wasn't for the manipulation.
If there were a legal exit from the federal income tax system, would you take it? Well, there is. Let's get into it. What most Americans don't realize is that you could have lived 100 years or more and earned $1 billion or more or less and never heard from the IRS if you never filed your taxes. Let me say it again. If you never filed your taxes, you could live 100 years, earn $1 billion. You would never hear from the IRS. I never heard from the IRS in the first 30 years of my life before I filed my taxes. I didn't hear from the IRS until after I filed my taxes. And there's a reason.
Notice how the way he starts off with a legal exit from federal taxes when there shouldn't be a legal exit from federal taxes. Because there are people that is obligated to pay the federal taxes. And it's the citizens by legal definition, which is a migrant from another country/nation, because they're not indigenous to the Americas. So he goes on saying how you can make $1 billion, you'll never hear from the IRS unless you tell on yourself. And obviously that's a problem. I mean, look at what's being exposed right now. Millions of migrants being funded by American tax dollars, even though they haven't even put into the tax system. This is an example of a quote-unquote legal exit from the federal tax system, and it's being abused even though they are obligated to pay because they are basically occupying/renting out land.
And the reason is that Article 1, Section 9, Clause 4 protects us from direct taxes like the federal income tax. Not only Article 1, Section 9, Clause 4, but the Supreme Court of the United States that ruled in 1895 that the federal income tax was unconstitutional. And then people say, well, what about the 16th Amendment? The 16th Amendment is not even valid for this conversation. And here's why. Because the 16th Amendment did not nullify, did not repeal Article 1, Section 9, Clause 4 of the Constitution, which still to this day protects you and protects me from federal income taxes. The entire federal income tax system was designed for the statutory United States, which defined in the tax code includes only the District of Columbia. Those of us in the 50 states were then, are now protected by Article 1, Section 9, Clause 4 of the Constitution. What that tells you is that you never had to file in the first place. I never had to file again.
Everything he said was facts besides one thing. Everyone isn't protected under that Constitution because it only applies to the indigenous people of the land, who are the Black Americans. We are outside their system, not under their jurisdiction, unless you've been coerced into signing contracts with the deep state corporations. So federal income tax is designed to pay, to maintain and build the land, to support and protect the people of the land. Notice he said in the tax code, generally speaking, persons in the District of Columbia is obligated to pay taxes. And essentially that means every citizen in America is obligated to pay taxes, meaning every migrant from every country/nation that is here in America are registered as citizens/employees/slaves to the United States Corporation in Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia. The 50 states are 50 state corporations, which are branches of the United States Corporation, because it's those 50 United States corporations together. Simple. But the United States of America is the indigenous people of America, the Black Americans. And when I say E states, I would say it with a E, as in estate, when something is left over, as an inheritance, as in we own our own lands, our own wealth, etc. So when he mentioned he never filed again, is an issue, because now he's not willing to pay his obligation for his privilege of living on this land. So essentially what's been happening, the main goal of the Democratic Party is to hide who the indigenous people are of America. At the same time, get our vote, which is really our consent, to bring in their people from other nations to take our benefits, our land, our wealth.
Is that you never had to file in the first place. I never had to file again. Had you never filed, you could have lived 100 years, earned $1 billion, and you would have never heard from the IRS. People who have never filed don't hear from the IRS. It's only the people who file who later hear from the IRS. So what happened was you and I, all of us, voluntarily signed a 1040 form. It says 1040 U.S. Individual Income Tax Return Form. U.S. defined in 26 U.S.C. 7701 only includes the District of Columbia. So that form was not for you, and that form was not for me, but guess what? When you checked that little box that said married or single or married filing jointly or separately, you made an election. You elected to be treated as a married person or a single person within the tax code.
So do y'all now see the misunderstanding of the law and the deception? Now don't get me wrong, I know he's making this video in good faith, but the deeper truth about citizenship is missing, because clearly he does not realize he is a citizen of the District of Columbia, meaning he is obligated to file. That form was for him. But again, it is not meant for the indigenous people of America, the Black Americans, for obvious reasons, because this is our land. Why would we be paying to live on our land? It makes no sense. So they came up with different ways to convince us to file for these taxes, to get our signature, our consent, for them to access our trust to continuously fund the whole world. And if you're Black, you already know the number one way: child tax credits. Then you have the programs that benefits people for keeping the father out the picture, etc. All that is doing is giving consent to give up all your energy, your free will power, your literal rights, placing you under their jurisdiction, when in all reality we stand above their system. Because again, if y'all accept the fact that this is our land and we was taken over, and when things go back to normal, it has to be like this, just like it is in any other country.